NC State Chancellor Randy Woodson praised new test results as a comprehensive understanding of the environment inside Poe Hall.
And I think that that's an absolutely disingenuous thing to say.
This report here on cancer-causing PCBs in Poe Hall is 818 pages long. However, experts say it's not enough to show what people were exposed to in this building. WRAL's Ashley Rowe is here with what this report does show and where it falls short. Ashley.
Guys, 5 on Your Side broke this story yesterday through a push alert sent to your phone. Now, what we immediately flagged was that only a few air samples were taken, 17 in total. We spoke with a former occupational hygienist who has studied PCBs in buildings for nearly 5 decades and says more needs to be done before major decisions are made about this building. Keely Arthur explains.
Cancer survivors Christy Lewis and Katie Rowland always wondered why they developed cancer so young.
I was diagnosed when I was 21 and 22.
And I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, which is a form of breast cancer, May 4th, 2023.
They hoped this report, analyzing and sampling the toxic chemicals in the building they spent years studying in as NC State students, would provide more clarity on what they were exposed to. Instead,
I think my reaction is the opposite of what they aimed to do by releasing testing. I just have more questions now.
We've been following Christy and Katie since February. They are just 2 of the 200 people who spent time in Poe Hall and tell 5 on Your Side exclusively they later developed cancer.
I was so sick when I was in Poe Hall, like so sick. I've never been sick like that ever again.
This report came with a message from Chancellor Randy Woodson, declaring the university now had a comprehensive understanding of the building environment.
And I think that that's an absolutely disingenuous thing to say. They are so far from really having a comprehensive understanding of the environment that what they have is a snapshot.
That's Dr. Robert Herrick, who worked for the federal government for 22 years studying PCBs and spent another 25 years at Harvard.
I find it incomprehensible that they set out to characterize the possible sources of PCB in the building, but they didn't look at the caulking at all.
For a complete picture, he says more air samples need to be taken over a much longer time.
They really need a full-blown monitoring campaign to do a lot more air sampling in more locations and let the system continue to run and just see what the actual sort of normal operating condition of the building is.
While almost all the test results were within the EPA safety standards, Herrick said that doesn't mean there aren't possible health effects.
The EPA, in fact, themselves says, listen, these numbers are not bright lines between safe and unsafe conditions.
And so to me, like in my heart, I'm like, no, more testing needs to be done. This is not the end of the story.
Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
We asked NC State for an interview to help answer the concerns you just heard there. It declined. And when we sent written questions to follow up, they referred us back to the report, Gerald.
This story far from over. Thank you, Ashley.